The end of Stranger Things is not just another TV milestone. It is the closing chapter of a story that has shaped an entire generation of viewers. After nearly a decade, countless mysteries, heartbreaks, resurrections, and battles against the darkness of the Upside Down, the world is finally witnessing the beginning of the end, and it all starts exactly where it began, with Will Byers. This final season doesn't simply revisit the past, it digs into the unanswered questions that have been haunting fans since the very first episode. For years, viewers have wondered why Will was taken, why he survived, and why he remained connected to the forces that lurk beneath Hawkins. Now, in the final chapters, those questions finally find their answers. This season gives us a deeply layered look at Will, revealing a connection between him and Vecna that reshapes the entire mythology of the show. The cast even explained that Will isn't just a survivor, he is a parallel to Eleven in ways no one fully understood until now. His personality, his trauma, and his instincts mirror hers more than anyone realized. That connection becomes the emotional and supernatural backbone of Season 5. Will isn't the frightened boy trapped in the Upside Down anymore. He's discovering abilities, strength, and courage born from the very darkness that once consumed him. And unlike the earlier seasons, where the danger followed them, now the characters turn around and chase it back. Meanwhile, Eleven's journey takes a shocking turn with one of the most unexpected returns in the series: her sister 8. Fans had long speculated whether 8 would ever reappear after her brief but impactful introduction back in Season 2. This season confirms her comeback, and the cast emphasizes that the Duffer Brothers never bring someone back without a purpose. 8's presence is emotional, destabilizing, and deeply significant to Eleven's internal struggles. Their reunion pushes Eleven into new emotional territory, confronting her past, her identity, and the cost of her power. Whatever role 8 plays next remains a mystery, but the actors tease that her return affects not only Eleven's arc, but the trajectory of the entire final conflict. One of the most shocking twists of the season involves the fate of Max Mayfield. Last season left her body broken and her mind trapped, creating one of the most painful cliffhangers in the show's history. But Max returns in Season 5 in a way that feels hauntingly new. Actress Sadie Sink explained that she filmed scenes that didn't even feel like she was on Stranger Things. Because Max exists in a mental world she built herself, part sanctuary, part prison, to protect what remains of her consciousness from Vecna. It feels like a spin-off inside the show, unfamiliar yet deeply connected to Max's trauma. The way she exists this season is bold, experimental, and completely different from anything we've seen in Hawkins before. Her storyline is one of dislocation, identity fragmentation, and survival through sheer mental willpower. A major theme of the season is evolution. After years of running, hiding, losing people they love, and fighting monsters far beyond their power level, the characters finally shift from victims to warriors. They are no longer scared kids reacting to the darkness. They are actively going after it. Lucas Sinclair fights not only to save the world, but to protect Max, driven by love, anger, and a hunger for justice. Mike Wheeler becomes the emotional stabilizer for Will, helping him harness a part of himself he has long feared. Mike's encouragement reminds Will of who he was before the shadows crept in, before the trauma, before the darkness took root. It grounds him, strengthens him, and gives him the emotional clarity he needs to unlock his powers. The bond between Will and Mike plays a pivotal role this season, with the cast comparing their connection to the dynamic between Tom Riddle and Voldemort, a relationship where destinies are intertwined, where one informs the other, and where light and dark collide. Mike is Will's anchor, the person who reminds him of simpler days, unconditional love, and the version of himself untouched by the Upside Down. Their friendship becomes a source of strength that directly impacts the supernatural events of the season. This season also reveals new depth in Robin Buckley, who transitions from the anxious, rambling comedic relief into a character with wisdom, maturity, and emotional insight. She becomes a mentor-like figure, particularly for Will, helping him understand the emotional weight of his identity and power. Robin speaks to the truth of growing up, about learning from mistakes, gaining perspective, and moving from main character energy to a supportive but powerful presence. Her evolution mirrors the actor's real personal growth, and her role highlights the beauty of guiding others while navigating one's own path. On the other side of the battlefield, Nancy Wheeler steps confidently into her strongest leadership role yet. She has always been a planner, a strategist, and a fighter, but this season pushes her into full command. She analyzes threats, organizes strategies, and directs the group with a maturity shaped by years of battling the Upside Down. Nancy becomes one of the central forces driving the final charge against Vecna, proving that her courage has only sharpened over time. Even the very idea of the Upside Down is explored in a way that finally reframes its meaning. While Season 5 answers the literal, scientific, and supernatural nature of the dimension, the cast reveals that, metaphorically, the Upside Down has always represented the emotional darkness of adolescence. It symbolizes the struggle of growing up, the fear, transformation, confusion, and pain that define teenage life. It reflects the feeling of watching yourself from the outside as you change, as you lose innocence, as you mature into someone new. Some survive that journey, some don't. And throughout the entire series, the Upside Down has been the mirror of that emotional truth. Season 5 also delivers some of the most cinematic, ambitious action sequences in the show's history. The massive scene where Vecna invades the barracks, one of the highlights of Part 1, took nearly 3 weeks of night shoots to complete. The stunt teams worked at full intensity, crafting a battle sequence that blends practical effects, physical performance, and emotional tension. One of the most crucial shots was filmed at 5:30 a.m., just minutes before sunrise, giving the cast and crew only one chance to get it right. When the take ended, the camera operator and the actor shared a knowing nod. They had captured something extraordinary. That moment symbolizes the scope of Season 5. This isn't television anymore. It's full-scale cinematic storytelling. As for the emotional weight of the story, the cast admitted that reading the final episode scripts left them in tears. The ending delivers not only action but deep, heartfelt closure. The Duffer Brothers chose to lean heavily into emotion rather than shock value. The final scenes are written with tenderness, sincerity, and a dedication to honoring every character's journey. The actors describe the finale as going straight for the heart. It's an ending built on love, friendship, sacrifice, and the profound bonds that have defined the show from the very beginning. But despite the emotional gravity, the action doesn't slow down. According to the cast, Part 1 is only the beginning. Parts 2 and 3 escalate everything: bigger battles, deeper emotional stakes, more explosive reveals, and consequences that reshape the entire mythos of Hawkins, Eleven, Will, and Vecna. The story expands in all directions, visually, emotionally, and narratively. The final war against the Upside Down is not just a fight for survival. It is the fight for their identities, their relationships, their past, and their future. As the season builds toward its conclusion, the actors emphasize that this is truly the final chapter. While they joke about returning in 20 years, they all accept that this is the end of the story for now. The adventure that began with Will Byers disappearing into the shadows finally arrives at its last battle. The circle closes. The story completes itself. And every character, every heartbreak, every victory leads to this singular moment. Now the world watches as Eleven, Will, Mike, Max, Lucas, Dustin, Robin, Nancy, and the entire town of Hawkins stand together one final time. Their destinies align, their powers awaken, their friendships deepen, and the final showdown with Vecna begins. This is the last journey into the Upside Down, the final chapter of Stranger Things. The end of an era that defined the streaming world.